In this example, two golfers, Bob and Leslie, drive on a hole of length 320 metres. Bob drives a distance of 210 metres at an angle of 12 degrees to the left of the hole. Leslie drives a distance of 190 metres at an angle of 2 degrees to the right of the hole. The question wants us to find the distance between the two drives and how far each drive is away from the hole. So, first of all, let's try and draw out the situation. So we're beginning off at O, and the hole is 320 metres away from O. So let's label that H. Now we're told that Bob drives 210 metres at an angle of 12 degrees left of the hole. So that will put us around this point here. We'll call that A, with this angle being 12 and this length being 210. So this distance A to H is the distance Bob's drive is away from the hole. Now we're told that Leslie drives a distance of 190 at an angle of 2 degrees to the right of the hole. So we will label Leslie's drive with a B, and this distance is 190. So the distance BH is the distance Leslie's drive is away from the hole. So we want to find AH and BH, and we also want to find the distance AB. So let's begin by finding the distance AB. So let's redraw this triangle. We have O, A, and B. O, A, and B. The angle O is 14 degrees, which comes from 12 plus 2. The distance OA is 210, and the distance OB is 190. So let's label these sides up. So as this length is opposite angle A, we'll call this length little a. As this length is opposite angle B, we call this little b. And as this is opposite angle O, we'll call that little o. So as we've got two lengths and one angle, and we want to find another length, we use the cosine rule. So the cosine rule will tell us that O squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos O. So O squared is equal to 190 squared plus 210 squared minus 2 times 190 times 210 times by cos of the angle of O, which is 14. So we see that O squared is equal to 2770.4. Now to get the distance O, we just need to square root this number. So O is the square root of 2770.4. So we see that O is approximately 52.63 meters. So the distance between the two drives is 52.63. So moving on to find the distance each shot is away from the hole. So to see how far Bob is away, we're just going to consider the triangle OAH. So drawing that out, O, A, and H. We see that the angle O this time is 12, OA is 210, and OH was the distance between the T and the hole, which was 320 meters. So labelling up these sides, as this length is opposite angle A, this is little a. As this length is opposite the angle H, we call this little h, and we'll call this distance this time our little o. So for this case, we get that O squared is equal to A squared plus H squared minus 2AH cos O. So that gives us 320 squared plus 210 squared minus 2 times 320 times 210 times cos of 12. So that tells us that O squared is 15,036.96. Now that's O squared, we want O, so to get O we just square root this number. So the square root of 15,036.96 is approximately 122.63. So Bob's drive is 122.63 meters away from the hole. Now finally, let's consider Leslie's drive. Let's see if she had a better drive than Bob did. We draw out the triangle. This time we consider the triangle ABH. So drawing that out, O, B, and H. This time this angle is 2 degrees. OB is 190. OH, remember, is the distance from the T to the hole, so that is 320. And so we want the distance BH. So labelling everything up, as this lens is opposite angle B, we call this little b. As this lens is opposite the angle H, we call this little h. And this length HB is little o. So we will see that O squared is equal to B squared plus H squared minus 2BH cos O. So that gives us 320 squared plus 190 squared minus 2 times 190 times 320 times cos of 2 degrees. So that tells us that O squared is 16,974.08. So to get O, we just need to square root this number. So the square root of 16,974.08 is approximately 130.28. So we can see that Leslie's drive is 130.28 meters away from the hole. So overall you would say that Bob's drive was probably a little bit better than Leslie's drive, as his ball is ever so slightly closer to the hole than Leslie's is.